probably spent longer than most bands sort of do on an album, but I think that's right. You know, I think we should. You're making a document that's going to last forever, and it's worth taking some time over. And we wanted to do it old school, and we wanted to get as much as possible down to live takes, and we've been recording to tape, which is quite a long process in itself. But you know, I think we're making something that we're going to be, you know, genuinely really proud of. No Time for Tears is essentially a song about a fight with a bouncer, which was an unfortunate night. But I think that, you know, sort of the essence of the song is something that a lot of people are going to relate to at the minute. It's wherever you live in the UK and also America and most of Europe and a lot of the world, you know, due to economic reasons at the minute, is not a very pleasant place to be. And you know, it's really a tune about keeping on, you know, and just sort of keeping your head up through the shit bits and marching on through. The concept for Elephant Song sort of first came about when we first landed in Japan. You land in Tokyo and you go from absolutely nothing to just like being inside like an ant's nest or something like that. It's amazing. There's just millions of people just walking about everywhere, and it's like going into an alternative universe. And it's the first place, you know, we've been in the world where the language isn't Latin based, so you've not got a clue what any of the signs say. You feel totally like an alien. It was just a really inspiring place, and I don't think we ever thought we'd ever go to Japan. And the Elephant in Elephant Song was, you know, it was just a nickname for the song when we wrote the riff and we demoed it, because the guitars at the start sound sort of a bit like elephants, and elephants always been the symbol of Coventry, and you know, I think we're pretty well known for not forgetting where we come from, and it's sort of a nod to Cov. We were writing songs we thought about our mates and the situation in Coventry and the lack of work there, and you know the sort of urban decline, and you go around the UK and you see actually that it's the same, you know, around loads of different towns and cities in the UK, and then you do bits of Europe and you see that, you know, it's similar in loads of Europe. And you know, when we eventually got to the States, you know, in the height of sort of the pre-election chaos, and everyone sort of everyone had a political viewpoint, and everyone was excited about politics, and because of that we spoke to a load of people about, you know, the way things were over there. And it's essentially until the recent election, you know, I think the Americans felt like they didn't have a say anymore, and you know, we got that from a lot of people, and it just seemed to be reminiscent of the situation back home, hence the 51st state. We sort of said, you know, we need some Elephant Song size just to close the record, and we were all sort of sat about one day, and I bought a new guitar, a 1959 Green Gretsch, and we sort of picked it up, and sometimes a riff just happens, and then this massive sort of riff comes out. You see all these people that have been to Brit School and all of that sort of shit, and you know, sort of gone to these academies, and you know, we never did that. You know, all we did was went out and bought a guitar, you know, and sat at a drum kit, and it's sort of essentially about how anyone can do that. You don't need this sort of ridiculous introduction to it, and it's not forced, it's not done to a formula, it's just, you know, that's it. And it was a really natural sort of close to the album, to the making of it, and then it works really well as the last track as well. I think there's been a natural sort of evolution of the band, a natural sort of maturing. It's, you know, we've been playing together now on the road for 2 years. When we made the first album, we've been playing together for a matter of months. You know, it's a more worldly record. It's, you know, I think you can hear that it's a band that's been around the world, that's toured big venues with big bands, and you know. But I don't think we haven't really forgotten the essence of the Enemy. The thing that people have asked us is, you know, what did you do to go in there and get it, you know, to sound that big? And it wasn't really a decision. That's just how it sort of happened. We went in there, we recorded it, and it sounded massive.